Okay, this is a general tutorial for all of my Tunisian lace patterns, describing the techniques and the symbols that I use in all of my patterns. So, just to explain the charting first, the way it works. Each stitch is actually quite long in Tunisian lace. In this case, it actually goes from the top here to the bottom of the stitch. That's all one stitch, that's all another one there, and so on and so forth, all the way along. The direction of work is from right to left, and the direction of each stitch, as I said, is from top to bottom. So as long as you have that comfortable in your head, you're ready to progress. So the first proper stitch we're going to be working on here is stitch number 1, and it's made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regular spaces. So that's a Tunisian simple stitch, basically, is what you're going to be creating out of that. You've got any of your work that's been created already is going to be down here on separate rows, and this is going to be sitting atop it, as you'd expect with crochet. So what I have created here already is a lovely little piece of pink crochet with 4 stitch spaces available, which are going to be used for these dotty squares here. Now, because we've got 8 Tunisian simple stitch squares here, what I'm going to need is 9 chains, skipping the first one and using the last 8 chains to actually create the first stitch. This is all going to be described in each of the patterns, and it only happens, the chains only happen at stitch number 1 of any row that you're working on. So in this case, I have my 9 chains created already. I'm going to skip the first one, and I'm going to work a Tunisian simple stitch forward pass into the second one. So yarn over, just pull through. You're just working into the back loop of these chains all the way down. Hook into stitch, yarn over, pull through, accumulating those loops as you go, as you'd expect with Tunisian. Yarn over, pull through, and the last one, yarn over, pull through. So I have all 8 of those stitches started. Now this dotty stitch at the bottom here is basically indicating where you have to connect stitch number 1 to whatever has come before. So in this case, as I said, I've got my 4 stitch spaces, and I'm going to just push my hook through, yarn over and pull through, as you'd expect, and that's basically the dotty square done. It's yarn over and pull through into base, that's what that describes there. So on the way back up, the back pass, what we're going to do here is yarn over and instantly pull through 2. Now I know in Tunisian it's only 1, in this it needs to be 2. So it's yarn over, pull through 2, and then continue that the whole way up. So you're actually finishing off all your stitches on the backward pass. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over 2, and the last one there. So that basically is stitch number 1 created. It's a solid piece, no holes, no lace in it at all, and what you're left with is a very, very small version of the chart. This obviously is going to go all the way up here. So that's all your 8 stitch spaces used up, and obviously your dotty square into what you've got there. Now the second row is where the fun begins. What I have here to start with is 1 regular space. So I'm going to create that by finding the first line there. You can kind of see it, I hope, there. So I'm going to yarn over, or going to put my hook through, yarn over and pull through. Now that's that first square started. These 2 grey ones here are Tunisian decrease. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting 2 lines at the same time, yarn over and pull through both. Now that's going to reduce the number of stitches in the next row. So the next thing we have here is a little black triangle, which is a yarn over, which helps restore the number of straps of yarn available in the next row. And then we're going to go another 2, so 2 regular spaces, 1 and 2. And then we're asked next to do another black triangle, so that's another yarn over, and the next one is 2 grey square shapes there, and that is another decrease. So we're going to push 2 in there, yarn over and pull through both, and that's actually restored that imbalance again. And the last thing, last part of the stitch there, is another regular space. So once more we're going to get up the last strap of yarn there, yarn over, pull through, and that's holding all of those in place. Again, we've got a dotty square right at the end, so we find the next available stitch space, work into that, yarn over, pull through, and then work back up the stitch again on the backward pass. So again, it's yarn over, pull through 2 to start with, and then continue that the whole way up. Now the lace itself isn't really going to become self-evident until the next row along, but you may start to see a few gaps in it at this stage. You can see one there, and you can see one there as well. There are a few gaps around it as well, but they disappear once we do row number 3, which is just a regular row there, 8 regular stitch spaces. But in this case, it's important to remember now that the yarn overs that you've created are going to be part of the work. This here is going to be a stitch you're going to be using, and again the other yarn over, which is here, is also going to be used. You're not going to work into the hole itself just into the yarn over. So we're going to go for number 1, number 2. Now pick up the yarn over, pick up 1, pick up 2, and pick up the next yarn over. That there, and that I think is the last one. And then again a dotty square, so we're going to go through the base of the stitch. Yarn over, pull through. Again, starting with 2 and working our way back up. Okay, so that there basically has included a regular line, a lacy line, and then a regular stitch there again. It's not quite so obvious with this thick yarn, but this is more just tutorial. If this was lacy yarn, you'd instantly see these holes appearing much larger and much more obvious. So the next thing we're going to do is a short row. And again, we've only got 4 stitches in this particular short row. So what we're going to do is pick up 4 stitches. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to work backwards. Again, pulling 2 to start with, 3 and 4. Now that's added an extra, sorry, bumping in there, it's added an extra base on top that isn't actually there at the bottom, which is the whole point. You're increasing basically within a very thick row. So the next row, row 5, is again, you've got your 8. So we're going to pick up the 1, 2, 3, 4 short rows first before we translate over onto number 3 again with that there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then number 4 is actually going to be the same base that was used here. You're actually going to be working across from 5 to 3, so it's actually, you can see, I hope, there, that is actually the end of row 4, which is worked into this strap of yarn, and then we're going to use that again. We're going to recycle it for this row, and then work our way back down the other rows.